So I'm here to just kind of tell you about my story and my own personal journey with living with JRA and just kind of all of that. So now I'm going to read to help myself from getting emotional. So bear with me. So since we're in Orlando, I thought it fitting to just kind of start talking about theme parks. So raise your hand if you like roller coasters. Yeah? Okay. Well, isn't there just something about the smell of popcorn and the sound of earth-shattering screams? Who doesn't love being shot into a gravity-defying loop at 100 miles per hour? Well, me. While everyone else enjoys that weird stomach-in-your-throat feeling and being at the mercy of the machine, I'm the proud friend who always says, "No guys, I'll watch your stuff, have fun." I always justified my fear of roller coasters through my deeper fear of being out of control. At one point when I was little, thunderstorms even terrified me because if a tornado tore through my house, I couldn't do anything to stop it. Seems like a valid fear, right? Well, if you all still aren't sure what I'm talking about, I'll tell you about the biggest roller coaster I've ever taken in my life. At the beginning of 2007, I was just like any other teenager. I had just finished 8th grade and was already thinking about what high school would be like. Were people going to like me? Would anybody get my sarcasm? And the ever-popular, what should I wear? Despite my questions, I was excited. I was a very active teenager who would play tennis practically every day. I lived on the tennis court and couldn't wait to finally be a part of my high school's tennis team. In my mind, everything played out perfectly. Tryouts would be a breeze, and I would be on my way to gracing the court with greats like Sharapova, the Williams sisters, and more. But as little, naive 14-year-old me would soon find out, life doesn't always or ever go exactly as you plan. Before summer ever began, my feet started hurting really bad. At first, my mom and I thought I was stressed from playing tennis so much. We went to my pediatrician, who told us it was just a minor hairline fracture. We accepted it at the time and went on with our lives. Still, I didn't feel right, and the pain in my feet continued. It wasn't until 5 months later, when I woke up with stiff fingers, a painful wrist, and a swollen knee, that I started pursuing a diagnosis. It was hard at first because nobody really wanted to give us any definite answers about anything. One person would lead us in one direction, while another took a completely different path and only led us to even more questions. That's when my mom and I realized that we had to get aggressive to get any type of clarity. My mom did some research online and finally found something worth going towards. All of my symptoms matched perfectly with polyarticular juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. After a long wait between the referral process and blood tests, we were able to get an appointment with one of the only 7 pediatric rheumatologists in the state of Florida. Once I was diagnosed, the roller coaster began. Over the course of the next 3 years, they had me on 5 different medication combinations. On top of transitioning into high school and already feeling really awkward, I now have this chronic disease that I had to deal with. Let me just say that one of the worst things about arthritis, besides the pain, is the fact that no one, not even your family, really understands how much pain you are in. On the outside, I looked like a normal girl, but on the inside, I felt like a 7-year-old woman struggling to do even the simplest tasks. At a time when I needed them most, some of my friends left me behind because they really didn't understand my situation and weren't really comfortable asking me what I needed. When I hurt too much or was too tired to do things, they moved on without me. My low immune system and monthly appointments made me miss a lot of school. Schoolwork became harder for me as my wrist got worse and cartilage started to erode. Trying to get special concessions from my school was a very frustrating process because my grades did not indicate I had a learning disabilities or problems keeping up with my work. I was slowly learning how my life was never going to be the same again. Being a teenager became less about finding myself and more about learning what to do with myself. After about 6 months, I finally decided that waiting around for a normal life was a waste of my time, talents, and energy. I knew there had to be a way to regain some kind of control over my life. I soon discovered that my strongest asset was my brain and my attitude, and I knew for a fact that my arthritis couldn't even touch them. I focused my efforts on school and realized I didn't have to play sports to be involved. Doors flew open for me, and opportunities began presenting themselves to me on a daily basis. Soon, helping others in the environment became my passion, and I sought out every opportunity I could to give back to my community in a positive way. From environmental projects and cleanups to after-school programs and repairing homes in the heart of Appalachia, everything I did became a way for me to gain control of my life and help others gain control too. It wasn't always easy, but having a purpose in life to focus on other than my arthritis kept me going. So you may be wondering what this crown and sash is about. Last year, I decided to take a leap of faith and do something I had never done before, enter a pageant. Those who know me really well can tell you that I'm anything from the stereotypical pageant girl. I'm kind of a nerd, I love wearing tie-dye, and I try to take every moment I can to be silly and maybe a little bit sarcastic. It was the first pageant I had ever entered, and I competed with girls from all over the country. You can believe my shock when I ended up winning it all. Let me just say that being America's national teenager doesn't make me any less of Sammy. When I go home, I am still a college student with arthritis. Who struggles with homework, family, friends, and balancing all of my responsibilities. The whole reason I entered the pageant was to prove that you don't have to be perfect to take a risk and succeed. Sometimes the greatest rewards come when we take a leap of faith. Today I am successfully pursuing a degree in environmental engineering at the University of Florida. Though I still struggle with my arthritis, I never let it define me. The sky is the limit, and I stand here today as proof that anybody can overcome obstacles. There will always be those obstacles in life that none of us have control over. Life is about taking those moments that we feel most vulnerable and gaining confidence through what we think, what we say, and what we do. None of us can control anything, and though it might seem scary in a way, life becomes more interesting. You'd be surprised what can happen when you take a deep breath and just let go. Thank you.